as I was saying, all right, we will go back to the worksheet, solving quadratics. All right. Now, did we not finish 45 and 46, right? All right, so we're on 45. Let's see if we can do this now. All right, find the dimensions of a rectangle whose perimeter is 52. Now, again, come on, guys. If the perimeter is 52, then the length and the width add up to 26. So I would prefer that you write length plus width length plus the width equals 26. And it says that the area is what? 160. So area is equal to length times width, which is equal to 160. You may have an issue with that. Any issues with that? All right. And now, what does L equal? What does L equal? 26 minus W. Everybody okay with that? And now from there, wherever I see an L, I put what? So there's an L. I'm going to replace L with what? So 26 minus W times W is equal to 160. Therefore, 26W minus W squared is equal to 160. Any issues with that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
What?
Oh.
Now, it's a quadratic. Quadratics have to be set equal to 0. So, see if you agree. W squared minus 26W equal plus 160 equals 0. Okay, before you tell me I'm wrong, double check your work. All right. Now, some kids say I could have moved the 160 from the right to the left, correct? But then my quadratic, my leading coefficient would be what? Negative. I prefer that the leading coefficient is positive. So what I did was I, in fact, moved the W squared and the 26W. And when I moved them, I did what to the signs? Change the signs. Did I move the 160? No, I did not move the 160. That is why the 160 stays positive. Yes, sir. Yes, you can do that. All right. Now, from here, we're going to go ahead and do the factoring. So that would be, anybody want to give me a hand? So my width is either 10 or 16. Beautiful. All right. Now, I'm not saying that's the answer because they want the dimensions. All right. So the dimensions would be 10 by 16 or 16 by 10. But aren't they the same? Yes. So the only answer you need is 10 by 16. Now let me say this again. This answer, you got to listen now to make sure you don't make a mistake. This 10 and this 16 are not the same as this 10 and 16. Do you agree with that statement?
Yes.
10 is an answer here. So that goes there. Now how do I find out what W is? Plug it in. What is 26 minus 10? That's how I got this 16, by plugging the width in. Everybody with me on that? That's kind of important. Yes, quick.
I think I had a
You don't know how I got L plus W equals 26. All right, so here we go. That's no problem. Look how easy it is. Do you agree 2L plus 2W is equal to the perimeter? Do you agree that 2L plus 2W is equal to 52? Divide by 2. L plus W equals 26. There you have it. Now you're good, right? Okay. Now we got to get going. So let's look at 46. It says, originally a rectangle was twice as long as it is wide. All right, so now let's watch. All right, so I'm drawing a rectangle. Here we go. All right. Now, in my rectangle here, the rectangle was twice as long as it was wide. So I put an X here, and that would be 2X. Everybody okay with that? When 5 meters was subtracted from the length. Now, do you agree this is the length and this is the width? Because the length is what? Twice as much as wide, correct? So now I'm creating a new rectangle. I'm subtracting 5, which means that's going to be what? 2x minus 5. Brilliant. And 3 meters was subtracted from its width. Wow. The resulting rectangle had an area of 55 square meters. So this new one has what? That's 55. All right. So now what equation am I going to use? Someone go. Now look, honestly, I'm not trying to brag about her, but look, if you didn't write that down, man, I'm just telling you, you're not doing what you need to be doing. Seriously. All right? And some people just read a word problem and say, I don't know how to do it. They read a word and say, I don't know how to do it. And I'm telling you, all of the word problems are what? Easy. You have to draw things out. All right? You have to label things. Now you're a little bit further advanced. You're not just going to say, well, that's the answer. We're not doing that anymore. All right? You got to figure it out. All right? It's not basic math anymore. All right? If you don't like doing that, then, we got to reevaluate. All right? Now, if you set that up, I'm sure you're going to get 100 tomorrow. All right? Provided you don't make any of your normal careless mistakes. All right? So now, multiply that out real quick. All right, now, the reason why I say real quick is because mentally you should be able to do it now. 2x squared. I have negative 5 and negative 6, which makes negative 11x. And then plus 15 equals 55. And of course, it's a quadratic, so I have to set the quadratic equal to 0. So 2x squared minus 11x minus 40 equals 0. Agreed? And now we're doing what? Trying to factor. So 2x and x, I'm starting with 8 and 5. Probably going to put 8 on the right, 5 on the left. 5 and 16 makes 11 if this is negative and that's positive. So I have x is equal to negative 5 halves. What's wrong with negative 5 halves? It's called an extraneous solution. So knock it out. It's no good. You can't have a length of negative. All right? So then your other answer is x equals what? 8. But I still have not solved the problem. I've gotten x, but I've not solved the problem. So what do I have to do? Read the question. I've got to read the question. The question says, find the dimensions of what? The new rectangle. I could have said find the dimensions of the original, and it would have been 8 by what? 16. But it doesn't say that. It says the new. So 2 times 8 minus 5 is what? 11 meters by 5 meters. That is the correct answer. 11 meters by 5 meters. Anybody have any issues? Everybody's okay with that? Yes, sir. Good. Of course, 5 by 11. You're going to learn a rectangle, length and width are completely, exactly. They're interchangeable. All right. It is simple. I'm trying to tell you. You can't look at something and say, oh, that's so hard. All right. You figure it all out. All right. It's not difficult. All right. Now, I want to jump to my review. All right. Now, please look at my review for a second. All right. This is what I did with my other class already. So everything is already posted. Do you agree with that? So, the reason why I'm saying that is because I would like to start with the word problems. Are we okay with that? I would like to start with the word problems. All right. Is everybody okay with this? All right. Because I'm pretty comfortable. Then after I do the word problems, what we'll do is we'll come back and do as many of the other problems as we can. Everybody with me? All right. Now, I'm going to eliminate. All right, here we go. So now, it says here, the product of two consecutive even numbers is 48. So, what are the two numbers? Good. X and what? X and what? No. Your first number is X. Your second number would be what? X plus 2. If you wrote X minus 2, guess what? Same thing. All right, it wouldn't matter. But generally we say to get to the next even, we don't subtract 2, we do what? We add 2, even though your answer would be correct. All right, so everybody with me? So I have X and X plus 2. Now, what am I doing with those two numbers? Multiplying them together. So it would say X times X plus 2 is equal to 48. Everybody with me on this? So let's say the first even number was 12. How do I get to the next one?
Oh, okay.
That's all you do. You're adding 2. All right? Now, it's quadratic. Multiply. So I end up with what? Does everybody mind if I just do that in one step, right? Because we know a quadratic has to be set equal to what? 0. So I got to move the 48 from the right to the what? Left. If it's positive, I move it, it's going to be what? Now we got to do what? Factor. So we get X. Beautiful. Right? And so now my answer is X equals 4 or X equals negative 8. Now again, those are not the answers. The even numbers multiplied together to get 48 are what? 6 and 8. That is one answer. And what's the other answer? Negative 8 and negative 6. Now look at that and make sure you understand what we did there. All right? Again, X equals 6. Come on, guys. Don't tell me you're confused. Look, if X equals 6, right here, come on, look how simple this is. Do I agree X equals 6? So, if the first number is X, the next number is X plus 2. So if this answer is 6, the next number is going to be 8. If the first X is negative 8, the next number is going to be negative 6. How did I know that? Well, that's what we made these notes here for. Just added 2. Yes, sir. You put both of them where they're wrong. Sometimes on the test, I'll say the product of two consecutive negative integers. If I ask for the negative, then what would be the answer? Negative 8, negative 6. On the test, I could say the the product of two consecutive positive even integers, then the answer would be what? Here it doesn't specify. So you have to do what? Both of them. All right? Yes, ma'am. Good for you. So think about, give me two even numbers, consecutive even. Any two. 4 and 6. So x is 4. How do I get to the next even? All right, here we go. All right, let's try the next one, since that was so much fun. All right, here we go. The length of a rectangle is 1 less than twice the width. So here we go. Let's draw it out. Several ways of looking at it. All right. The length is 1 less than twice the width. So if I label this the width, I could label this. Now look, I kind of like what she's saying here. So the width, we're just going to identify it as what? X, right? And then the length would be what? Then the length would be 2x minus 1. Everybody happy with that so far? And then it says the area is 91. If the area is 91, I would have x times 2x minus 1 equals, does that make sense? Everybody happy with that? Distribute, right? So now I have 2x squared minus x minus 91 equals 0. Everybody see that? Is that factory? Shall we try? I like that. Shall we try? 7 times 13 makes 91. Brilliant.
That works.
7 times 13. Right? So what I was thinking real quick was, I'm in a little bit of trouble because 7 and 13 is too far apart to make a 1. But with the what? 2 there, it's okay now. So let's look carefully. So again, 2x, x, I have 7, and I have 13. Now let's look. That's 14, and that's 13. I want it to be negative, so I want the 14 to be negative and the 13 to be, there you have it. So now you set it equal to 0, so you would say x is equal to negative 13 halves. Do you agree with that? Which, of course, we'd recognize right off the bat as a
Bad one.
not as a bad one. We're trying to sound mathematical. Yes. Very good. That is said to be an extraneous solution.
I was so close.
The extraneous solution, remember, cannot be negative. All right, your length cannot be negative. So your only answer is x equals 7. Now again, that is not the answer.
You have to find the dimension.
Right, we have to read the question. The question says, find the dimensions. So we would say it is 7 meters by 13 meters. Very good.
You know what should be extra credit on the test?
Yeah, I'm just going to ask you, how do you spell extraneous?
Because if you can say it right, you get like.
Yes.
So why
Just bring your
how
recorder.
do you spell extraneous?
Exactly the way you say it.
EXTRANIOUS.
All right, we're wasting time. Here we go. Now, number 15. All right, I need your attention on number 15. This is kind of new type of problem that I would expect you to be able to do. It's very simple. Very simple. So here we go. Look. It says the height of the golf ball can be modeled by the equation h of t is equal to 25t minus 5t squared, where t is time in seconds. All right, does everybody with me on that? So h represents the height of the ball. So when you throw a ball, believe it or not, it follows this shape. It's called parabolic. All right. So that's how when you see, I used to wonder, when they hit the baseball, and they say how far it exactly went, and I'm always going, well, how do you know exactly? Right? Well, guess what? They know exactly because they know the math. All right. So the math can tell them exactly how far the baseball would have gone. And the same thing with shooting a basketball. If you notice, the basketball always follows the same arc. All right. So in this case, all right, all you have to do is watch carefully, all right, and answer the question. And know that t represents time and h represents what? Height. That's it. All right, now read the question carefully. It says, how long will the ball remain in the air? So the ball will remain in the air until the height is what?
0.
Until the height is 0. The ball will remain in the air until the height is 0. So 25t minus 5t squared equals 0. Everybody happy with that?
Oh, so that's
So now I can factor out a what?
5.
5t. Thank you very much. If I factor out a 5t, all right, I will get 5 minus t equals 0. So now solve them individually. So you would say t equals 0, or t is equal to what? 5. So what does that mean? At 0 seconds, you were on the ground. And then what happened? You hit the ball, all right? And it took 5 seconds for the ball to do what? To hit the ground. Exactly. All right? So how long is the ball in the air?
5 seconds.
For 5 seconds. All right? At t equals 0, that's called the initial position. All right? Now, how long or how high is the ball after 4 seconds? How do you think I figured this out? What do I do? That's it. Plug it in. What does 4 represent? T equals 4. That's what that represents. T equals 4. All right? So now, watch. H of 4 is equal to 25 times 4 minus 5 times 4 squared. So h of 4 is obviously 20 meters. Right? Because what's 25 times 4? What's 4 times, or what's 4 squared? Times 5. 80.
Oh, I got it.
100 minus 80. 20. So when you hit the ball, after 4 seconds, the ball's going to be exactly what? 20 meters in the air. Everybody with me on that? Well, in this case, oh, you're right. It doesn't say. I should have put up there. Feet. Usually it's feet or meters, actually.
Let's just put meters.
All right.
Which is old.
And actually, it's I shouldn't have put meters. I should have put what?
Feet.
Because the next question is in what?
And what time
Yeah.
is the ball 30 feet?
Right. So again, it usually there is a specific equation that I'm going to teach you in a couple weeks about the height, free fall. All right, which you guys might have already done a little bit in physics.
We haven't done physics.
All right. So now, at what time is the ball 30 feet in the air? What do I have to do here? For what? For h, exactly. So all we're doing now is we're going 30, or let's do this. 30 equals 25t minus 5t squared. That's exactly correct. That's what you should be saying to yourself. All right? Now, from there, all right, I want to set it equal to 0, right? So I move the negative 5t squared to the left because I want it to be positive. So I have 5t squared minus 25t plus 30 equals 0. Now the first thing I notice, I can divide everything through by 5. So if I divide by 5, divide by 5, divide by 5, t squared minus 5t plus 6 equals 0. Now factoring this gives me what?
T minus 3t plus 2.
Good. T minus 2 and t minus 3. Is everybody happy with that? And so now your answer is what? 2 seconds and what? 3 seconds. Now which kind of should make sense? Because why? Because when you hit something, the ball's going to go in the air, then it's going to fall back down. All right? And so if this was 30 feet, right, it would hit 30 feet at 2 different times. All right? So we're going to talk a lot more about this next week. But again, I think that's an excellent question. All right? That's an excellent question. Now, again, listen, the most important thing, because that question is on the test tomorrow, just the numbers are changed. All right? Is I want you to, listen, make sure that you understand A, B, and C. T is like the what? X. And H is like the what? The Y. All right? It's not that difficult. All right? You have to learn to read questions better. All right? If you want to improve. All right? Now, let me do you to find two numbers that total 10 and whose squares total 68. All right. We've done this before, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but hold off for 1 second, though. Honestly, guys, I am going to give you a little bit of hint. All right. 16 and 17, we've done them before. All right. So what I want to do is I want to go back to the previous problems. Listen to me. Honestly, all I did for your test tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, there's 15 or 16 or 17 questions. The word problems are almost identical. All right, because I wanted to see you set them up. So you need that practice. Everybody hearing me?
Yes.
All right. So of all of them, I want you really to practice. Listen to me. I want you to practice 13, 14, and 15. All right. Now what I want to do is I want to kind of work backwards. I want to look at number 11, please. Everybody stay with me on number 11 now. All right. So to solve that, what do I have to do first? Factor out the GCF. So I'm going to factor out a 3x, and that becomes x squared minus 25 equals 0. And now what can you tell me about x squared minus 25? X plus 5, x minus 5. And so x equals what? Wrong. 0, comma, plus or minus 5. All right, now again, that's just a common mistake. I just try to teach kids you've got to be careful when you factor out an x. If you factor out an x, the answer is automatically what? 0. And if you agree with that, when you multiply by 0, you get 0. So if you plug 0 in for x, obviously it's going to be 0. So be careful with that. All right? Now, number 12 looks a little bit different, so people thought it was a little bit more complicated. But in reality, everybody in here should be able to just look at that without hesitating and say, obviously, the answer is negative 2/3. And I will talk about this more in the upcoming lesson, but we say that is a double root because that answer occurs how many times? Twice. All right? So x equals negative 2/3. Now, if you're going, wow, I'm not sure what you're talking about, you can rewrite it as 3x plus 2 times 3x plus 2, which means it's already been factored. Does anybody agree with that? And because it's already been factored, then you just set the factors equal to 0 and solve. Everybody good with that? All right. So now we're just going to work my way backwards here. All right. So I'm just going to do 9 and 10 real quick. I'm going to do as many as I can before the bell rings. All right. So here we go for question number 9. Number 9 is a little bit tricky because
There's no
you have to set it equal to
0.
You have to set it equal to 0, which means I have to move everything to the left. All right, so when I move it to the left, someone tell me. Beautiful. 12x squared minus x minus 20 equals 0. Now again, I've tried to tell some of you, it's not doing you any good to just write my answers down. You're supposed to be looking at that going, what in the world? If you don't know what I'm doing, you put your hand up and you say, how did you get the negative x? Or how did you get the negative 20? Don't just write the answer down. It's of no value. None whatsoever. Everybody comfortable with that? All right, now let's get to factoring. Again, choose the middle factors. That's how it mostly works out. And that factors 2. Go. Did you get it yet? Tell me. 4x plus 5 and 3x what? Now, does anybody agree with that?
Yes.
Everybody agree?
Yep.
Now remember, you're practice working on your mental math here. So you should be able to say right off the bat, then if that's true, x is or positive 4/3. You have to know that. 100%. Again, speak up if you're not sure.
Doesn't then x equal just 4/3?
No, wrong.
That's all I'm thinking.
This has to do with, remember, distance can't be negative. All right, this is just solving a quadratic. Number 10, how do I factor? 2x plus 3, 2x minus 3, beautiful. So now, because we're brilliant, we can just say x is equal to, yes, plus or minus 3 halves. Is everybody happy with that explanation? Any questions? Some of you guys, now I keep saying that, I'm looking at some of you, and, you know, you got to speak up. Could we go back to number 9, please? Are they wrong?
Probably not, because you said it was right. I just don't understand.
What don't you understand?
Oh, sorry, I was thinking.
No need to be sorry. We're just moving on. Here we go. I'm going to erase 7 and 8. Get busy on 7 and 8. Shh. Try 7 and 8 quick. I haven't even turned my page down yet. Stop saying the answer. Good. That's what you should have done. Sometimes I post the reviews early. Some of you, that's good. Always check. Plus at home, if I post something, does it give you a little bing?
Bing.
Does
No,
it say?
I just thought
No.
yesterday I have everything on silent. Just in case. I accidentally downloaded this yesterday, so I did this for homework last night because I thought this was the homework. So.
All right.
Oh gosh, this is scary.
Factoring. Go. 7. I'm listening. Now consider the source. I double check this, please. What did you say it was again? And what?
That is correct.
2x minus 1? Yeah. Like this?
That is correct.
No, it's
That's correct.
Ooh.
That's correct.
I'm not sure I would argue with Mr. Stauffer. That's a losing cause. Tell him. Is that correct?
Yes.
For those of you guys who don't know if it's correct or not, you are not checking your work. That's as simple as it is. You don't know if it's right or not. All right? If you check your work, then you're confident it has to be right. Because we do our smiley faces. -6 and -4 makes what?
-10.
But that doesn't make it correct. That does not make it correct. What makes it correct is if you check -3 times -1, which gives me the what? The +3. Now again, the reason why this one's considered harder is because there are two possibilities for 10. You can do 6 and 4, or you can do 12 and 2. Now, the problem with the 12 and the 2 is that the 3 would have to be what? Negative. All right, the 3 would have to be negative. So again, I'm just saying, if you want to make 100, just do the smiley faces and then check the last term. That's all you have to do. And from there, you're going to tell me that x is what? 3/4, 3/4, or 1/2. All right, 3/4 or 1/2. Now, for question number 8, you got to be careful because you got to set it equal to 0 first. All right, so setting it equal to 0 first.
6x squared minus 5x minus 25 equals 0.
Beautiful, just like that. And then factoring for me.
3x plus 5 and 2x minus 5.
Anybody agree with that?
I do.
Yes.
All right, let's double check. 10 minus 15 is negative 5.
Yes. And
Positive times a negative is a negative. So we're in good shape. All right, I'm telling you, it's real simple. Real simple. All right, so now from here, please listen to me. So x is equal to negative 5/3, or x is equal to 5/2. So I'm pretty happy with you on that. Now look, I just want to scroll up a little bit. I want everybody to take a quick look at number 3. I'm not going to erase it. I just want to show you a few of the highlights because you can go back and listen to the music. All right, listen to me now on this. It's not equal to 0, right? So I'll move it over.
Yes.
Always, always, always check for a what?
Greatest common factor.
Always. Makes it easier. All right. From there, guys, thank you very much. Just listen. Go over this. Do this review 5 times. If you do it 5 times, make 100.
I'll take your word for that.
All right.